Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Sanya and you're watching Psycho Spirited Away. In today's video, we will be discussing about the three gunas or the three modes of nature, material nature that is there. So as per scriptures, it is told that the whole universe is created by two things. One is Purush and another is Prakriti. Purush means the soul that we have and Prakriti is the material nature that the God has created for us to navigate the life through this life. So all the living beings, even this body that we possess, is made of that material nature, and the thing that is energizing this body, like an electricity, is the soul. So once this electricity or the current which is going inside of us leaves the body, this body becomes dead. So everything which is changeable in nature, like this body and everything which is around us, is material in nature, which is made out of three gunas. We will discuss about that. And the one thing that is not changing at all, which is the soul, the energy within ourselves, which is the energy of God. This energy is never changing. It is eternal. When the soul is in body, it has to go through certain things. And this channel is all about going to discuss all about that. So we are discussing about part 1 of understanding toxic people. Eventually we will be uncovering these three modes of nature, the material nature, so that we'll have a higher understanding of how we can really navigate our lives and put our energy into the things that matter to us in the spiritual growth. The story's reference that I'm taking is from Bhagavad Gita, which is written by, the commentary is given by Swami Mukundanand, and I'm a huge fan of his work. I feel that he is a true spiritual master. He never misleads anybody in the journey of spiritual path, and he will only talk about that your soul has to reach the level of self-realization and then God realization. And this particular video is based on chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita, which talks about yoga through understanding and transcending the three modes of nature, which is Satvik gun, Rajasic gun, and Tamasic gun. Let's understand this by listening to a story where a traveler was passing through a forest who was looted by three goons. And one of the goons said that we will kill this person and we will steal all his wealth. The second goon said that no, let's not kill him. Let's just tie him to the tree and steal all his wealth and then we'll leave. So they decided to go ahead with the second option. When they were leaving that place, the third one, after some distance, decided that I should go back and help that person to maybe just show the way outside of the forest so that he's not being eaten by the wild animals. So this is a very simple example which Swami Mukundanand has told himself in his book, that all these three kinds of people, they exist within us. And one of them is Satvik, the person who has a better conscience, who is operating in a mode of virtue and goodness, and has decided that he will help the other person and he's working towards the betterment of the other person as well. Although he is stealing the wealth, he's still attached to it. That person is in the mode of Satvikta. But just a point to be noted is that being too Satvik or being Satvik is also not what is recommended by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and we will discuss about that as well. So the first person who decided that we will kill this person and then steal the wealth, that person is actually operating in the mode of ignorance. That ignorance is coming from the place of darkness, where the person doesn't care about how the family will suffer. That person is not really focused or has no empathy for others. So that person comes from a very tamasic mode, and that is a mode of ignorance. Now the second person who decided not to kill the person but still tie him to the tree, he was driven by worldly desire of getting that wealth and just not thinking about the consequences. He's focused on to the result, that this is what he wants, but he will still not go to the levels of darkness that the tamasic person is going. So this second person is actually the person who is driven so much by passion and worldly desire that he is attached to the greed and the material world. So you can understand by this simple example that how the human mind or everything around us has all these three qualities, and this is how we all are made. There is nothing wrong exactly to have Tamasic, Rajasic, and Satvik quality, to be honest. Everybody needs these qualities to a certain extent. There is a ratio which is recommended in Ayurveda. We'll not go into that, but we'll try to understand that Sattvikta is required for us to maintain the goodwill, to maintain the harmony, to maintain the peace, to maintain a level where we will be driven towards acquiring the knowledge and keep high moral values. The second one is Rajasic. Rajasic gun, it helps us take some action. So anything that we are performing in life, it is happening because of this gun that we have, which is the mode of action. So action is important. It's not that it's not important, but if you indulge yourself into too much of action because you're attached to the outcome, to the result too much, that is where the excess of guna will take place and you will become too rajasic. Then comes tamasic. Tamasic means a mode of dullness, lethargy, madness, but everybody needs tamasic good, because eventually everybody at the end of the day feel tired and they want to sleep. So that this particular good helps the person to sleep. So having a good proportion balance of all these three goods is important. But we can define people into three qualities majorly, depending upon what is excess in them. For example, some people may have more of sattvic quality. They will try and be good to others most of the times. It is also possible that one person who is very greedy and wants to conquer the world and maybe become the president or the prime minister, somebody who really wants to take charge of people around them in a very negative way and is very driven by a lot of desire. That person is called Rajasic, and that mode of Rajasikta leads them to suffering eventually, because no desire is ever fulfilled. And eventually, the more you desire, the more you take action, and the more you get, the more desire is generated. It is a never-ending process. That is why being too Rajasic is going to lead you into anxiety and depression eventually. But it's not that the person who is completely Rajasic will always remain Rajasic. It is possible that the person is also having some sattvic quality and is also having some tamasic quality. So you have to judge a person by seeing what is a pattern, what is the longest pattern that the person is operating in. It is important to maintain an equilibrium of our energy versus others' energy, because it's a material nature and each and everything hampers our growth or accelerates our growth. So in case you are being with somebody who's too tamasic and too rajasic, being with such people may lead you to end up into a place where you don't know where your energy is going, because they are kind of taking energy from around themselves. So this is why I'm coming with this topic of understanding toxic people through understanding the three modes of material nature. And what does exactly Sri Krishna tells about these three modes is that to Arjun, he says that all these three modes are leading to suffering. Eventually, we all are bound to suffer through the three modes, because even being too sattvic is going to attach that person to happiness. And in case that happiness is not there and you're being with tamasic or rajasic person, that they're creating disturbance, that person's happiness is getting impacted and that person is then suffering. So this is where we have to understand what kind of a person we are, and then determine our atmosphere and surroundings, and then decide where we have to spend our limited energy that we have, so that we can really progress on the path of spiritual development. Now, a lot of people might say that going into the path of spiritual development, it means that we are leaving everything else behind and we are leading a selfish life. A lot of people have this doubt, but according to me, it is not spirituality. If you think that way, it means you don't really understand what is true spirituality. For a person to love others, the person should be able to love himself. And once the person is situated in that knowledge where he has transcended all these three gunas of nature and has become situated in knowledge, and now he is directly having access to the right source of knowledge and also having the right energy with him, only then will that person be able to help others grow in this path. And eventually, our goal in life should be to develop the energy of our soul so that eventually we are able to help others as well as ourselves into the spiritual path. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna tells Arjun that he has to take action not for himself, not for his personal interest, but for the overall well-being of everyone and for the God's will. And the God's will says that you have to conquer your mind first. You have to become so strong yourself and detached from within that whatever action you take, you surrender it to God. You're doing it for the will of God. So in the next part of the video, we will discuss more into details about what happens when each of these gunas are in excess. And trust me, even having more sattvikta or attaching yourself too much into happiness also leads to suffering. This is why we all need to transcend to another level, and we will discuss about that in the next video.